Hi, friends. Well, Kathy Weens here. So we are on day 5 of the Decluttering and People-Pleasing Challenge. So I have a question for you. Have you ever picked something up and you're like, yeah, I'm going to let this go. It's time. I can let this thing go. But then you hear a voice inside your head. Maybe it's somebody from your life, an external voice, or maybe it feels like it's actually you saying this. But that voice says, oh, don't give that away. You might need that someday. Or it's bad to waste things. You shouldn't throw that out. Or another one for many women is, you know what? I'm going to fit into those jeans again, so I'm not going to get rid of them. Have you ever felt that? But the truth is, the clutter isn't just about the stuff, and that's what we've been talking about in this whole challenge. It's not about the stuff. Today, we are going to talk about those voices that we hear when we are trying to get rid of things. And when we are listening to those voices, whether it's someone else's voice or maybe our own, when we are listening to those and valuing those over what we know we truly want to do, then that is about people pleasing. And so often, people pleasing and decluttering can go hand in hand. And that's what we are going to talk about today in this video. So we may often think about people pleasing as just something that happens in our relationships. And while that's true, this connection between people-pleasing and decluttering shows us that the people-pleasing aspect of this, it's not just with the other person, but it lives in our closet, in our basement, in our garage. It lives in the stuff that we hang on to. And so what we need to figure out is whose voice is that? And do we really want to listen to that? When we become aware of whose voice it is that's telling us to keep this stuff for whatever reason, when we understand that, then we can process that and make a choice about whether or not we want to listen to that voice or to our own voice. And so the challenge for today, as you are going through your things and decluttering, the challenge is to think about whose voice is telling me to keep this? Whose voice is telling me that I need to hang on to this? It could be the voice of your mother saying, well, you might need that someday. You better not get rid of it. Or it could be the voice of a teacher or a friend or maybe even a pastor that would say, you know what? It's wrong to waste things. So if you get rid of that, you're wasting it. So you better hang on to it. Or it could even be the voice of our partner saying, oh, if you get rid of that, you're going to regret it. So this is the challenge today. Whose voice is it? But you know what? We don't have to listen to that past programming, to those things that we have been told, to those people whose voices we are now hearing. We don't have to listen to that because we deserve a clean, calm, and peaceful home, a home that is free of all of the clutter and the things that we no longer want or need. And like I said, sometimes that voice is someone external, mother, teacher, partner, but sometimes that voice is really us. And I know that's true for me, and it's the voice of my creativity. That's a huge voice in my life. And what that voice is telling me is, ooh, you better keep all those art supplies that you have. When I was going through some decluttering recently, I could not believe the amount of markers I had. Markers just kept showing up everywhere, and they were hard for me to get rid of because the voice inside of me was saying, but think about all the things you can do. And you know what, Kathy? Those markers dry out, so you're going to need them later on. Those were the voices that were inside of my head. And sometimes that creative voice inside of me says, oh, you better keep this because you know what project you're going to use it for. And one day you will get that project done. It's just that creativity that really fuels me holding on to craft supplies and fabric and paint and so many other things that I use in my creative life. And maybe that's true for you too. Maybe it's just unfinished projects that you don't want to get rid of. If you've ever dealt with that, say something in the comments about it. And that voice of creativity that I often hear is not a bad voice. It's not malicious or trying to be mean to me. But the reality is, it is full of pressure and guilt. Guilt for not throwing them out, but giving away good supplies that I would like to use. And then that can lead to shame. And that's not what I want in my life. I don't want my creativity to make me feel ashamed of what I haven't gotten done. But if I let go of some of these art supplies, that doesn't mean I'm no longer a creative person. It means I am being honest with myself. I am being honest with the things that I can actually get done. And I am honoring those projects that really are the most important to me. So it's okay for me to let go of my many, many art supplies. And when I release the clutter, I'm not giving up, but I am making space so that I can have more energy for those creative for those creative activities or those creative things, those products that I am most interested in. So it's not, the letting go doesn't take away from me, but it's actually life-giving for me. So I can be even more creative because having less stuff will help, but also having a calm space where I can re-energize so I can do those fun, creative activities that I love. That's what decluttering will do for me. And so I need to stop listening to that voice inside my head that's telling me all of these things about my craft supplies. And also, I need to recognize that not listening to that voice is uncomfortable. And it is going to be uncomfortable to get rid of some of my craft supplies. But that's not a reason to not do it. It's okay to be uncomfortable, to know we will be uncomfortable when we do this decluttering. That's okay. And when this process feels uncomfortable, I can be assured that I can trust myself and these decisions that I am making about what to let go. And so a way that I can do this, and we've talked about this in other videos, but to just pause and to maybe look at an unfinished project. I have Ziploc bags of many unfinished projects. So I can take one of those and I can think about the story behind that. Where did I get that? Maybe it was from a friend. Maybe I got something from a friend and I thought, ooh, I can make something with this. Or maybe it was just the story of what I had hoped to do. Because I am a creative person and it is something I really value in my life. So I can take this project, whatever it is, listen to the story, and then trust myself that it is okay to let it go. I can trust myself, and then I can trust the universe or God, whatever we want to call that thing that's bigger than ourselves, that has more control than we have. I can trust that and say, you know what? When I give this away, it will go to someone else. And hopefully they will be able to use it in their own creative way and finish their own project. So that's a way I can give it out to the world and trust myself that that's okay to do. And so again, kind of back to the beginning of what we started with, whose voice is it that you are hearing when you try and let go of things? Is it someone from your past? Maybe it's someone from your present, or maybe it's your own voice. Just pause and think about that. And when you do that, then you can make a decision if that's the voice that you want to listen to. Okay? All right, since it's a challenge, we have an insight, an affirmation, an action step, and a journal prompt. So I'm just going to read those for you. So the insight for today, day 5 of the challenge, is people-pleasing shows up in what we keep and in the voices that shame and blame us. Okay? And we do not need shame and blame in our life. We do not need that. And the affirmation is, I care for myself and I listen to my own internal voice. And I'm going to add in there, I listen to my own internal wise voice. Because sometimes our voice is telling us to keep things. But what is that wiser voice? That voice that wants to help us have a clean, calm environment. And then the journal prompt is, what voice am I listening to when I feel I should keep something? And always remember those should statements. When you hear yourself saying that or someone else, that's kind of a red flag. So whose voice is it? You could do some journaling around that. And then the action step is to let go of things that reflect someone else's expectations and not yours. You have a choice. You can do that. You can let go of things that don't represent you and that you don't really want. Okay, so finally what I want to say is I am doing a class on decluttering. It's called the Clutter Cure. Now, that's a big statement, but I think the actions that I talk about and teach in this class will help over the long run to actually cure our clutter problem. It's working for me. So that class is on August 4 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm going to leave the description in the show notes all about it. So I hope this was helpful for you today. Again, put in the comments, whose voice are you always hearing? And what are some things that you are having trouble letting go of? And if you'd like to connect with me, I'm also going to put the link in the description about where you can contact me, my website, Facebook, all the things. All right, thanks for being here. Take care. Bye-bye.